In the year of our Lord 2018, Coleco launched a Kickstarter crowdfunding campaign that brings back their mini arcade machines of 1981. That's great, right? Those little machines were awesome, and what 80s kid didn't love getting their Frogger on? But curb your enthusiasm right there. These new Evolved units aren't quite as cool as the hype would lead you to believe. The new Coleco Evolved comes in two flavors, Robotech Purple and Rainbow Bright White. That's right, new retro licenses, with games previously not available in portable Coleco handheld form. But new games, that's gotta be a positive. I hear your point, but let's take a moment and analyze this design. Robotech the Macross Saga is a previously released GBA port, and Rainbow Bright Journey to the Rainbow Land appears to be an original Famicom RPG thing. So, okay, that means that the games inside the two units are very different from one another. But what does that mean for the machine's internals? Is each unit using custom hardware specifically tailored to suit its game? Unlikely. Are they just souped up Famiclones? The Coleco Evolved Kickstarter enthusiastically advertises a powerful gaming chip.
Under the hood, our new games come to life with a powerful new gaming chipset.
So let's examine what that actually means. Famiclones, or knocked-off unlicensed NES units, commonly run an ASIC technology, which stands for Application Specific Integrated Circuit. Okay, I know that's a lot of words, but basically it means that the microchip inside has been designed to run a specific application. In this case, that application is emulating an old Nintendo, and doing a poor job of it. So the fact that Robotech is clearly not an NES ROM means that we can rule out existing Famiclone ASIC processors as a possibility. That leaves two other real options. This thing is running on either an FPGA or ARMS processor. FPGAs aren't very cost-effective, with most chips costing slightly more than the projected MSRP of these new handheld units. There are some budget options, however, that can handle 32-bit applications, and microchips get cheaper every year. So maybe the inclusion of an FPGA processor explains why the projected MSRP of these units is $70 goddamn dollars. And an FPGA would fit the description of a powerful gaming chip. But why? Why throw money at a dedicated processor just to run GBA and NES ROMs, especially when there's a cheaper existing alternative? And that brings us to ARMS. Do you know what tiny little computers run on ARM processors? Raspberry fucking Pis. And what are Raspberry Pis popularly used for? Making pretty little emulator boxes. And hey, the emulators frequently run, that's right, GBA and NES ROM files. Now, I don't know for a fact that the new Coleco Evolved is a fancy-looking Raspberry Pi. I'm just suggesting that it would be fiscally irresponsible of the developers if it weren't a fancy-looking Raspberry Pi. And if it were, would that be a reason not to back the Kickstarter? Well, no, not really. But I also think backers should be aware of exactly what it is that they're paying for. And a mysterious, powerful gaming chip sounds wooey as fuck. And speaking of the backers, just who is the intended market for this product? It seems to have been successfully funded by enthusiastic collectors, and it's understandable. Those new old shell designs are really pretty. But if this were simply an overpriced cash grab aimed to capitalize on the feel-good nostalgia of crowd 30-something, why not produce faithful reproduction units complete with the original classic arcade titles they grew up with? Handheld cabs housing the likes of Frogger, Galaxian, and Miss Pac-Man would sell. And those licenses couldn't possibly have cost more than that of Rainbow Bright and Robotech. Based on the marketing video, I think Coleco is hoping to appeal to modern kids. And I suppose, given that angle, the new licenses would make sense, if kids these days had any idea who and what Rainbow Bright and Robotech were. Coleco has clearly put a lot of money into acquiring these characters, and the aesthetics of the machines look amazing. But what parent is going to spend $45 to $70 on a retro handheld unit that plays a single dedicated ROM? That's Switch cart money. Hey kid, which would you rather have, that old GBA Robotech game at 600% markup, or Splatoon 2? I know what I'd pick. Okay, so maybe don't buy Robotech, but that still leaves us Rainbow Bright. The game is completely new, and an RPG. That sounds like a badass concept. And the trailer certainly shows something that's both bad and ass. In it, Rainbow Bright wanders through barren stages, occasionally spitting rocks at bugs and eating unicorns. My immediate concern for this trailer are, 1, it looks generic, and 2, it looks boring. For a place called Rainbow Land, the landscape is dominated by a whole lot of monochrome green, almost as if it were a generic Zelda knockoff with a licensed avatar dropped in as an afterthought. And the gameplay? Well, let's just say that I think this presents a pretty insulting lack of challenge for what is obviously intended to be the girl version of the Coleco Evolved. Basically, my opinion is this: avoid this Kickstarter. And if you really want a handheld arcade unit, wait for the recently announced Neo Geo Mini, where for the low price of whatever they decide to charge, but I'm gonna assume is less than $70 a game, you'll at least get 40 good titles to play. Because the Coleco Evolved is a junk product designed to prey on your nostalgia, your children, and your gullibility.